It was an absolutely beautiful fall day when Guy Whalen and I headed out to Cache Valley, set up on the west end of the abandoned runway, got everything ready to go, and about 9:30, 9:45, we were in the air and headed out to look at some really fantastic fall colors. It just can't get any better than this. Yeah, it was chilly, about 44 degrees or so, so you needed your winter clothes on, but golly, what a day. We climbed out of the airport and I tucked in behind Guy. It was his turn to lead the way today, so off we went. And if you happened to see that video I posted the other day of strange circles in Cache Valley, we kind of figured it out. In one area there where I was the other day, there were just some circles for whatever reason. Maybe because the water table is so close underneath the surface of the valley here, literally just a few inches down in many cases. You have cattails, bulrushes, all kinds of things like that growing down there. And so the puzzle that I was puzzling about the other night seems to have been solved. Well, I'm going to speed this video up, play it back at twice the recorded speed. So instead of flogging along at 30 miles an hour over all this beautiful scenery and boring you out of your minds as we go, we'll speed up and travel about 60 miles an hour. We headed west to the town of Mendon and then continued on south along the west side of the mountains to Wellsville. Mostly, the air was almost absolutely smooth, although every once in a while we'd fly into a little bit of surprisingly bumpy stuff. Maybe the ground heating below us, maybe a little wind pouring out of those canyons to the side there, but my GPS was indicating right around 30 miles per hour all the way, so it didn't have much of a tailwind, didn't have much of a headwind, and it didn't seem to be crabbing to hold a course. So the lumpy, bumpy stuff, yeah, wasn't bad. I guess the only thing was that it was such a contrast to the smoothness of the air there. Ah, those fall colors. The reds are mainly oaks and maples, and then the dark greens, of course, are the evergreens, the ponderosas, and maybe occasionally a fir or something of that sort up in there. And then every once in a while a sprinkling of yellow where there are some aspens in through here. But most of these slopes are covered with oaks and maples. flying along here, I was able to get some pretty good looks up into some of these side canyons. There are hiking trails all over the place down there. But where there's not a trail, the vegetation is thick enough that you have to do some bushwhacking. But my hiking days are over. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to fly. By the way, I had planned to record the radio conversations back and forth between me and Guy, but I forgot to plug the cord into my microphone, so my camera wasn't recording anything. And so we have an old-fashioned silent movie here. I hadn't originally planned to fly up into Sardine Canyon this morning, but it was so calm that I decided to go ahead and follow a plan that I had made a couple of days ago. Fly up over one of these ridges here where there's a little bit of a low spot and get into the canyon that way and then come down the canyon, since it's really not a good idea to fly up a canyon. So we'll cross a ridge or two here, take a look up into Sardine Canyon. I just never get tired of trying to catch up with my shadow on the ground or trying to leave it behind. Some reason or another, I just never seem to succeed at that. And then down there's Highway 89, traveling between Cache Valley and Brigham City, looking up into Sardine Canyon. Next time, I'll probably fly farther up the canyon. But Guy was waiting for me down at the mouth of the canyon, so I turned around and dumped altitude pretty quickly and went chasing down to try to find him and join up with him again. What a beautiful, beautiful world we live in. A powered parachute is an awfully small object, and I had some trouble finding Guy as I came down out of the canyon. But talking back and forth on the radio, he said he had visual on me, so I knew we were okay. And then we decided to fly a little farther east over towards Hiram Reservoir. I've been to that lake several times on the ground, but I never realized how tall the dam is there that holds that water back. There's some fairly deep water in that lake. Somebody was down there enjoying a boat ride. And then we turned north and headed back to the airport. Plunked our machines down at the end of about an hour and 20 or 30 minutes of flying, and it just doesn't get any better than this. Yep. I'm glad you were able to come along with me.